Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to deliver my argument as a government team based on the motion. The motion is this House believes that the developing countries should require foreign companies operating in its territory to have a minimum quota of hiring local workers. So, ladies and gentlemen, for our current status quo, they still facing many problems because they access the foreign companies and also they access and there's no limit for foreign workers and let local workers compete with the foreign workers, right? And as a developing country, we also know that developing country facing so many problems on the country. And in this case, it getting worse because of Undang-Undang Cipta Kerja that also known in Indonesia, for example. From that problem, we do believe that developing country will stay facing two major problems, which are unemployment and knowledge transfer. So let's take a look from my first point, unemployment issue. We know that many Indonesian or local people they have a problem. The biggest problem is unemployment because there's so many Indonesian people there's not get the job yet because they're so hard to get the job, especially in Indonesia. And we know that many countries they build the companies and hiring people from their own country because foreign country, of course, they want increase the unemployment, increase their people from their own country and would solve the problem about unemployment on their country. So, of course, if the foreign country they build the companies in Indonesia, they really want to hire people from their own country, right? But we have to know that they make companies in our country, right? They build their companies in Indonesia. They process their company in Indonesia. So they have to also hiring people from our country because why? Because that's how the world works. If you want advantages from other people, in this case, the advantages is they make companies on our country. Then they have to give us advantages at least to respect us, right? The local country must take advantages because they let other countries to use our land to build their companies, and the foreign companies should let hiring people from Indonesia, and they need to have the minimum quota for local workers. Because many companies they decide to make companies in our country. Why they decide to make their companies in Indonesia? Because they need something in our country, right? For example, they need our land for build the company. They need our national resources. For example, in Indonesia, we have a lot of national sources such as crude oil, herbs, and many species of plant. Indonesia is a rich country. That's why many other country they want to build their company. They want to take our national resources, and if they want to take our national resources, they have to give us at least advantages too, right? Because as the proverb say, if you live in Rome, just do like a Romans. If you live in Indonesia, you have to respect us as an Indonesian people. That's, for example, if you build your company in Indonesia. Let's take a look from other case, like for example, crude oil companies. They take our oil, right? They take the oil from Indonesian land and they bring it to their companies from their crude oil companies, and they only take the crude oil, but they also take the crude oil to bring the crude oil to their own country, and in their own country, they process it. They process the crude oil to become the processed oil, and if we Indonesian people want that crude oil that has processed, we have to import it. But we all know that the crude oil basically is from Indonesia, but we have to import it. And why Indonesian people or the local workers especially always on bottom level in work, right? So let's take a look in my second point. It's so related with what I said before. Knowledge transfer for other country. We do believe that our country can absorb other knowledge by having local workers. Because why? Because we also know that the local worker is also a good quality, has a good quality of worker, right? And we also know that if we work in a big companies, in a big companies that have so many knowledge and good at the machine, and it will be good for the local workers. Because why? Because local workers can learn better in the in the big companies, in especially foreign companies. Because we also know that the foreign companies usually have many machines that so much better from the own country, and it can make knowledge transfer from local workers, transfer knowledge from foreign worker to local workers, and our local workers' ability will increase, right? If we back to the example from crude oil, Indonesian people only know about how to take the crude oil, but with this point, if there's knowledge transfer, Indonesian people should know about how to process the oil, how the oil become the product, and it can make Indonesian people not have to import the processed oil again, because they can process it by themselves, because they already learned about how to process the oil from other countries. So it can make Indonesian people not only on bottom level workers in current staff school, even they not have changed to become middle to top level of worker, but with this solution, it can increase the probability they can be they have the chance to become middle to top level worker. So in our side of the house, I do believe that the motion, which is developing countries should require foreign companies operating in its territory to have a minimum quota of hiring local workers, is the best solution to major problem in the country. Thank you so much.